Well, folks, as the United States and the world anticipates the implementation of the coronavirus vaccine, Democrats in this country are preparing their way for more local and statewide shutdowns. This week, President-elect Biden announced that he is seeking to have Americans pledge nationwide mask wearing for the first 100 days of his upcoming administration. As Biden's socialistic strategy unveils itself, so does the unraveling of American business. From coast to coast, small business owners are reeling, ladies and gentlemen. And as our nation continues to implode over the coronavirus, Democrats prepare to pave the way to destroy every aspect of traditional Americana. Today, I'll break down just how our nation will look as we move ahead into the coronavirus Christmas season. And for those in our country who have felt powerless to stop the Democratic spring COVID purge, you haven't seen anything yet. With President Trump looking prepared to vacate the Oval Office, how far are Americans willing to go to fight for their freedom? This and ahead and more today on the Closet Conservative Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Wright. Let's get started.
This week's podcast is sponsored by Free Lunch Coffee. As conservatives, we're always looking for an easy way to make a difference, and it really can't get any easier than this. When you buy just one bag of Free Lunch Coffee, you're providing 10 meals to children in need. And Free Lunch Coffee gives away 50% of the money they make to end hunger in the lives of children. And we all know there's children out there who really need our support. And sometimes it's difficult and intimidating knowing where to help or how to start. Beyond just the fantastic cause, Free Lunch Coffee has great coffee that is specialty grade, certified organic, and fair trade. Free Lunch Coffee also has some cool custom-designed mugs and tumblers. Each mug provides 10 meals, and each tumbler provides 20 meals to children in need. It can make a great Christmas gift, showing that you're really in the Christmas spirit this year, buying gifts not only for your loved ones, but also helping children in need. They offer a 100% money-back guarantee for 30 days. If you didn't love the product, they will give you a full refund. And you can keep the products too, so you have nothing to lose. Free Lunch Coffee is offering a 10% discount to the listeners of the Closet Conservative podcast. Use coupon code CONSERVATIVE when you check out. Check it out, freelunchcoffee.com.
Folks, I am a firm believer that old Joe Biden must have had an epiphany when he fell victim to being tripped up by his dog in his front yard. And what do I mean by that? Well, folks, the proof is clear. Joe Biden, led by his droves of Democrats spread across this nation, have used a virus with a survival rate of 99.98% to plunder and politically corrupt our government. Ladies and gentlemen, I am sad to say that we have just begun to feel the pain. From New Jersey to California, Texas to Michigan, liberal legislators and Democratic governors have decided that the steady rise of COVID infections warrants the wanton disregard for business success and independent financial sustainability. That's right. If you are a small business, diner or restaurant, food or other service provider without government contracts and or connections, you, your business, your dollars, and your employees do not matter. You see, for today's liberals, their will is the only way, folks. No, it doesn't matter that you are American, conceived and born by the grace of God with free will, given the right to choose what is best for you and your family. No. In liberal-led states such as California, which determines over 20% of the required electorate for the presidency, beginning today, December the 5th, the right to operate your private business as you see fit is being restricted or wholly taken away. Retail businesses will be limited to 20% of their customer capacity inside at any one time, with requirements for store officials to ensure that there's no indoor drinking or eating. A governor is implementing, folks, and these orders within California's state in quarantine is Governor Gavin Newsom, who defied his order weeks ago when he took his children and other family members to a winery, now closed, within the state, eating dinner with the top medical directors and supervisors from within the state of California. And since March, numerous and countless liberal lawmakers, both state and federal, have defied their mandates to favor what is best for them. The same can be said for businesses affected by liberal COVID shutdowns. Major retailers like Amazon, Walmart, Sam's Club and Target have registered massive profits, while small mom-and-pop shops have suffered, barely keeping their heads above water or folded altogether. Instead of providing action to American business owners, Democratic congressional leaders were busy passing Friday the Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement Act to legalize cannabis, led by House Speaker Pelosi and propagated by Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. Smoking pot is more important now than family and financial security. And since March, Democrats have pushed for bailout after bailout, still instead of sitting down with House and Senate Republicans to ensure American family solvency. They have been too busy pork-barreling, more wasteful speaking, and spending for their socialistic swamp members. If Democrats were truly inspired to assist Americans and their families, they would take a look at companies like Amazon that have raped small business for over the last 4 years, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. Since 2016, liberals have laid into President Trump about his tax returns and claim how little he pays when compared to everyday Americans. But for people like Amazon's Jeff Bezos, he paid just 1.2% tax rates in 2019. Business owners like Jeff Bezos, who, don't get me wrong, have a beautiful but monopolistic business platform led by his AWS software. As long as you are a liberal, you are left alone in today's America. Free to do whatever, free to pay whatever, and open to crush independent small businesses who are responsible for employing over 47% of all workers in America. Ladies and gentlemen, for many in this country, capitalism is wrong, free enterprise is evil. But I'm here to tell you that a communistic class system in our country will bring utter chaos and pin our population even further apart for those who have and those who do not. You see, there are rich people in socialistic societies. Take a look at communist China. But you see, what Biden plans to bring into our nation is a platform where our everyday hardworking people who place their families and their employees on the front lines, who lose to special government interests, and those who dine with fellow Democratic dogmatics. Folks, while I do not live in fear, I'm afraid not what Biden and his administration and liberal legislators have in store for our republic. But for over 240 years, since we beat and pushed back the British off of our shores, America has placed the freedom and future squarely in the hands of the people. Now, the Democratic Party has implemented a master plan to manipulate and disintegrate what our founders and nations, generations, have fought and died for. Join me today as we say that our nation will never conform to communism. No. Join us today. The new Republican Revolution, our fight for freedom, has just begun. This is Eric Wright, and you have been listening to the Closet Conservative Podcast.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to our podcast. Please remember to give a 5-star review and share our podcast with your friends. The Closet Conservative Podcast is a production of the Liberty Loft. Copyright The Liberty Loft, 2020. You can find more shows and information on our website, www.thelibertyloft.com, or any of our social media channels.